Do you remember
No.
the 21st night of September?
How can my memories be real if my eyes aren't real?
Oh, it is the...
Yes. For anyone who may have stopped watching, no, this is not a karaoke stream. This is a D&D stream. Eventually.
No, this is a stream of Lothair's slow descent into insanity, his total absorption of his schizophrenic personalities.
Hello?
True.
Dissociation of
think
his
he already
individual
has it?
identity. I don't know. What do you think, voice number 4?
So, essentially, when we last left off, the party had returned to the front lines to basically try and make sure that the mages in Flamekeep weren't going to go back on their word and suddenly attack the army marching on Korheim and the Volstrom estates. However, on our way there, we were beset by mages who we couldn't identify immediately, although we believe them to be Volstrom affiliated. And we were able to take one of them into custody, and
We were able to take 3 of them into custody.
2 of them were dead, though.
Nope.
No, one of them was dead.
Well,
Lucky us.
Yeah, only the big
okay,
guy
I thought we
was
killed the
dead.
ice one.
No.
Okay.
Darius bonked her. I think I explicitly said that I'm not finishing her off. Something about
okay.
not stabbing her because my lance makes things a little difficult to heal people. Something.
Right.
Back end.
Okay, anyway. We have taken a number of them into custody, and we're going to find out what the fuck they're actually doing here. At least that's the plan. So, yeah.
As the party prepares to actually begin their general activities, as we'll put it, the ice around you, in the time that it has taken for them to actually begin to awake, has begun...
Wait. We brought them back to the camp.
You did? Oh, yeah, you
Yeah.
did. Womp, womp.
Yeah.
Alright,
Hilariously.
my grogness reaction. I guess we'll just do it in, on this page, then. This is fine. What could ever go wrong?
I think part of the intent was because we wanted Rifter to be in part of the torture dance reaction, hilariously, Among Us 360.
Well, the party is currently going to the hospital that Rifter is being treated at.
Amazing.
I'll go and make sure that they're all set up while the rest of you go and check on Rifter. Actually, Cable, would you mind coming with me?
Not at all. Yeah, Cable's just gonna follow him in.
Mostly just want to make sure that we can keep all 3 of them separated and keep an eye on them, at least partially.
I understand exactly.
The rest of the party enters the hospital slash barracks. We're currently in one of the cots. Rifter is looking quite spry and actively moving their arm, attempting to get it so that it's completely in functioning order. He's got it, most of the motion recovered. He winces a little bit as he perhaps stretches it a little bit too far on one of them, but he's almost all of the way to proper recovery.
As you walk in, you just see Rifter, like, flicking his arm a little, like, sort of testing it out. And he just cracks a smile as you guys walk in. Oh, hey, just the people I was looking to say. So, Word is that you brought something back with you.
Darius and Schoenhoff look forward with dead expressions glazing
I'm
over
pretty
their
sure
eyes.
Darius is at Flamekeep.
I thought I was talking to Lorik.
Oh no, Lork's.
Wait,
With
who
the
walked
prisoner.
in?
I guess it's just Schoenhoff. I thought it was Schoenhoff and Darius.
All right,
I thought
okay.
I thought it
I'm
was,
totally cool with retconning him not going to Flamekeep.
I thought it was Lorik and Cable.
No, the Orc and
Right,
Cable are
Lork and
with
Cable
Cable are with the
were-
prisoners.
Yeah.
All right.
This is
Yeah, I'm like, we
This is
transitioned
lucky.
from one scene directly to another without specifying. Okay, yeah. So I guess Rifter's just talking to Sternhoff then, I guess.
I left the room when we started. So what was?
Oh
was
my
that?
god!
Oh my god!
Rifter, you as you walk in, you just see him flicking his arm like in a karate chopping motion almost. He's basically just testing out the reaction, and the quickness of his arm. And once you walk in, he looks up at you and he smiles, a great big wide smile. He's like, "Oh, just the man I was looking to speak to."
You look like you're doing better.
Yeah, loads better. I can, move around. And he holds up his fingers.
Well, it's good to see.
Yes, and I heard that you brought back goods from your trip.
Yeah, let me take a look and see what I have.
You see Rifter say, "No, I mean," and he finger quotes, "goods." And he gives you a much sterner look.
Ah, right. Guys, I'm lost here. What are the goods?
He's referring to the mages.
prisoners.
If by goods you mean the mages, we've taken care of that.
Oh, already. What did they say?
They have upheld their policy in being neutral.
Oh, I see. You mean, no, I heard from a grapevine that when you entered here, you were not exactly with the original party, that there were additionals. He means the mage prisoners.
Mage prisoners.
Does RuneScape Golden not remember that you guys brought along the three people who survived?
Oh, those dudes!
Lol.
Wait. Real quick. Somebody send in that gif of that guy being like, "Whoa!"
Oh,
Somebody tactically drop it.
The one that Golden
Always
keeps
uses,
posting.
yeah.
Let's see, does this work, or is this just going to be a link? Yeah, that's just going to be a link. This is tragic. My Grognist reaction.
But yeah, I'm assuming Strudhoff gets it by this point.
Those mages, right. Sorry. I blacked out during that fight.
Understandable. But yeah, I figured that you would probably want somebody like me to, crack open that door for you.
Right. You seem to be the best person for that.
I would
No
certainly
offense.
hope so. None taken. And Rifter also, as he begins to walk, he says, "Oh, one more thing. I coulda got a. How do you put this? A letter in the mail." And he again raises air quotes. "One of our mutual associates referenced me. They they want to trade off Thomas.
All right. Well, perhaps we should run it by the rest of the group first.
I figured as much, but telling people as soon as I know, as soon as I can.
Right.
All right, let's go find the rest of these blokes. And he is ready to leave outside of the room and go find the rest of the party.
Given where Golden knew they last were, you pretty quickly find yourself stumbling upon what is currently... I guess, Darius, the real question is, given that the party won't be going back to Flame Keep for a very, very, very long time, if at all, would you like to just be here?
Hilarious retcon. Yeah. The idea was he goes over, checks out, lets them know what the huge misunderstanding between the two groups were with these mages, and then makes his way back, hilariously.
Yeah.
But we can do that later.
Right.
He's still summoned.
That happened, it just isn't being played right now.
Okay, so he makes his way back with his big griff boy.
Yep, they switch out your hoverboard so that it's freshly charged and you make your way there, getting back just to learn.
I have a griffin.
Oh yeah, you do use that.
I use, yeah, I feel like that's a little faster than a hoverboard.
A fair bit, yeah. So as Rifter and Schoonhoff leave the barracks area, they see as Darius is dismounting in what is currently like a landing area nearby.
Rifter just looks at the griffin like, what? Where did this come from?
Oh, he just like takes both of his hands, puts pointer fingers up on both of them, swirls them around a bit, and then points at his chest. Me.
What? How? What? How?
Magic's a weird thing.
Oh, fucking hell. Alright, cheating. Alright, that's not important. What's more important is, what are you going to name him?
I mean, that's not really something I was thinking about. I don't know if it's made of magic. I don't know if I summoned it from somewhere. I don't even know if it's actually alive or not.
It coos a little bit.
I see.
It's a griffin. I don't know.
Alright, okay. Enough dicking around. Yeah, I heard that you brought along some +2s.
+3 actually, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, +3. I have my work cut out for me.
Alright, just for some reference, there was one who was very adept with ice, one who was adept with blood. I checked, not that kind of blood. And one that was flying and shooting us.
Oh, our favorite. I sure do love when people fly and shoot at us.
It was rather unfortunate. But nonetheless, it's over now. I've had a conversation with the mages at Flamekeep, cleared up the misunderstanding, shed some light on the situation. I'm assuming that you're going to interrogate them now?
Aye.
Count me in. I'll come for now. I'm not sure how this is going to,
pan out.
Yeah. He's very like, I wanna, but I don't wanna, but I really wanna, but I really do not want to.
By the way,
we'll see how it goes. I'll leave if I need to.
There's something important for you to know. She, Cassandra, she contacted me.
Oh?
She's wanting to do a trade-off for Thomas.
What's the trade-off?
The word I say, not the one I mean. She's giving it to me.
What do you mean? She's giving him to you so.
Rifter just pulls out a dagger.
All right, that is something we can accept from her.
I agree entirely.
Hmm.
So, let us go meet our new friends, shall we?
Indeed.
And Rifter is going to let Darius lead the way because he doesn't know where the prisoners actually are.
Darius has not been here.
Oh, okay.
Both
Well,
of them
he
look
just
at each other for a
arrived.
few seconds, look at the look at the paths in front of them, then look back at each other, then both just turn and face Golden or Strunoff. Fuck me.
we both just look at Golden like, help.
Where's the map?
Not
Not? Okay.
no.
imagination.
Yeah, we can assume you know your way there.
Yeah, I totally know my way there in this white void.
Yeah.
He leads them to a small bunker complex where the supposedly best spot to do it is where there's a single room flanked by 3 different rooms. The larger of those rooms in the center is one in which the other 2 party members are currently waiting, finishing discussing with someone who helped them set everything else up. The other 2 rooms have been recently cleared of other objects and have chairs in them, with the prisoners on such chairs.
Oh, hello, lovelies, he says as he walks into the main room to literally everyone in the room.
By the way, Cable would be like standing guard outside of the door just to make sure that they didn't get out. So I'm going to assume we say hi to him. As he watches as Rifter comes in, he's kind of giving him like a weird, like, "What are you about to do?" kind of look. But yeah, once we walk in, Rifter looks for a seat. Is there one?
In the central room, there's actually quite a few seats as well as a few beds. It's actually fairly comfy, all things considered, given the situation.
Okay. Rifter's gonna go ahead and pull up a seat and just sit like in an area where they can all visibly see him. And he goes ahead and sits down and he just looks at them and he says, "Well, you don't know me, but it appears you're going to know me."
Let's hold on for a second, Rifton. We need to, as he sort of like makes a swirling motion around all of the party members. We haven't exactly convened about any of this yet.
Oh, I figured that we would just talk to them first. I mean, no need to get bloody for no reason.
No, for sure. I was
And besides,
suggesting we talk to each other before we start.
Fair enough.
going to torture wouldn't really do much. In my experience, when you torture someone, they tell you what they think will make it end, not necessarily relevant information.
If you're bad at it, yes.
It's not a matter of being bad at it. It's a matter of, even if they don't have the information, if they think that fabricating something will make it end because them saying that the information doesn't exist isn't being heard. Well, and besides, I have
Yes.
my ways of...
If you're bad at it.
We're
But
not.
yes, proceed.
We're not getting into it yet. Let's have a discussion with each other before we start talking about the physical implications of what we're going to. Okay. So first off,
I imagine we all leave the room and don't have this conversation right in front of them,
Yeah.
by the way.
I mean,
Yeah.
Right.
so this is. I will draw a quick diagram of it because it is a
Yeah.
3
I'm
system
pretty sure
thing.
they have 3 isolated rooms, right? Like
Right.
they're. Yeah. Okay. So then we're fine in the middle room.
It's kind of like that.
Okay. Wait, actually, let me see it. I think I'm...
It's
Oh,
actually-
okay, I see. Okay.
It's actually
Yeah.
quite good that they're all in their own isolated rooms because it's better if we question each one individually without them knowing whether or not we've talked to the other ones yet.
Agreed.
Group
I-
dynamics
for them.
fall apart under individual scrutiny.
My thoughts exactly. for that matter, I propose that we tackle them at the same time. Myself to one, Darius to another, and then Schernhoff and Richter to the third.
Perhaps, but
I
then
appreciate your technique, Richter, but you do unfortunately lack some crucial vocabulary.
I mean, I think it would be reasonable, but I do think that individually, one at a time, might be better for building up a foundation of knowledge and then cross-referencing with the others.
I agree
We
with
have no
this.
basis of knowledge if we do them all individually, or if we do all of them at once.
I think perhaps we should all take a gander at them. That way they think it's different people, perhaps. But yes, I believe we should go one at a time.
Alright then.
The more knowledge we can build from one, the more we can do with the next, and the more we can get from the next. It's...
Aye.
I don't like this.
Nor I.
Hopefully we can just talk to them and they'll just tell us. But somehow I doubt that. Whatever. I will try and get them to talk.
Who do you think is the most important amongst them?
None of them seem to be particularly leading. They seem to have relatively quiet, calm communications. If I had to guess, the tactical leader would probably be the Ice Mage, considering they set up everything. It would be difficult to be a subsidiary and also manage the battleground like that.
Then perhaps we should do them last.
So then we go for the Blood Mage first. Make our way around.
Sounds fine to me.
Alright. We start with our basics. Why are you there? Who are you? General questions to try and get ourselves any level of information, like anything. Any tag, any hook we can use on others or on them themselves. But if we start out too specific, we risk shutting them down. Alright. Any questions?
Not at all.
None.
Let's try not go overboard unless we have to.
I agree.
Aye.
They walk in, Richter immediately throws a chair at them.
Good cop, bad cop.
Yeah.
Or rather, good cop, mad cop.
I think I should, at least for this first one, go it alone. The room's small, and
These are not to scale. You could all fit in.
well,
I
if they're confronted with all four of us staring them down at once, they're not going to say anything.
think... Oh, there are two angles on this. There is the perceived... It depends on the angle we're going at. If we're going at a more stern approach, then more people is better in the room. If we're going for a more individual human approach, then I think one or two at most should probably be in there. I'm not sure though. We should... The first baseline we don't need an enormous amount of information for, so we can see how they react to all of us being in there first.
Alright.
And also, the fact of how they respond to us will also give us a basis. Lets us know how trained they are. Lets us know how much they are to expect. Somebody who is more intelligence related will have strong training to try and resist counterintelligence operations. But if they don't, if they crack, if they seem like they want to leave, if they seem like they're willing to aid us, then that means that they are not necessarily intelligence agents or particularly high in on the rung for aiding the Volstroms.
I see your point. That makes sense to me.
It gives us a basis for how how rough we're going to have to be in the end.
Alright, but Lorik, if you would like to go first alone, I mean, I don't see any reason why. I guess he can't do it his way. I mean, we don't really know what these guys are like. Maybe a nice, gentle hand, nice mother hen is probably the way we need to go for some of them.
All right. For the first one, we can take turns. If you feel like you're hitting a dead end, you can tag somebody else out.
Aye, and perhaps that's exactly what we need, rotating approaches.
Like it?
Hmm.
I think it's a good idea.
What is your angle going to be, Lorik?
I think I'm going to try the sympathetic, get them out of there approach.
I don't mean to sound off, but you are of Delmarev.
I know.
Right.
That in itself, that combination, will be unexpected, to say the least. I'm hoping to create at least some dissonance there,
All right.
while also preserving the threat that if they don't cooperate, I have years of training to fall back on.
All right. I trust you. Go for it.
Alright. Lorik walks into the blood mage room.
As you enter through the pair of doors, she is currently facing the other direction away from you, and she starts thrashing around in the chair a little bit. You get the good visualization as both her arms, wrists, and her ankles are bound together with these silken silver ropes and essentially a very similar to the design to the anti-magic handcuffs that you were well aware of from much earlier in the campaign.
Lorik just kind of steadily approaches the chair and stops her thrashing around in it by grabbing the back of the chair and steadying it, all without saying a word.
She continues to do so.
You're going to tire yourself out long before I tire myself out doing that.
When she hears your specific voice, it begins to get much more vicious. The little bit of her head that you're able to see as she twists it around, her eyes are starting to glaze over red, and she's almost frothing at the mouth. Like some parts of her arms start to bleed a little bit as like she attempts to cast magic, and instead of doing anything, it just quickly gets sucked and expunged up by the ropes. She is in a fury.
I'm thinking for a moment. Oh, okay. Calm yourself. I don't want you to be injured as a result of this.
No effect.
Lorik is going to actually spin her chair around so that she's facing him, and his eyes gleam like with a golden light as he actually casts fear on her. As she continues to thrash.
She does so, and after a moment of fighting against it, a little bit of the spit and foam and blood that is in her mouth. She spits it as it lands in your face.
Ew.
Lorik casually wipes it away, and he is going to use a use of Divine Sense just to make sure that there are no untoward presences in the room, like some pact with the demon making itself manifest or anything of the sort.
What are all the types?
Let me link the feature.
Celestial, demon, fiend, I think.
60 feet.
Also, out of character, are these interrogations all going on at once, or are they going on one
The
after the
party
other?
One after the other.
specified they want to be doing them sequentially rather than concurrently.
Okay.
You detect that there is one celestial within range.
Not behind total cover?
It is behind total cover.
You still do.
So wait, there's a celestial in this room then?
Not necessarily.
Then it's behind total cover.
Hold on. Source, dude, just trust me.
Okay, okay.
Like, it is certainly bizarre for Lorik because, like, since it does tell you, like, the general direction of it, like, even though it's through the wall, it is where that person is, and it's exceptionally bizarre for it to be traveling through, like, the wall and still being able to sense it.
So, how about that book? Where did you get it? The one bound in human flesh.
No change. Do you want to make a wisdom check for me real quick?
Check or save?
Check.
Sure. Nope.
You have
If
a
it's,
pretty... Would you allow me to say that you're starting to feel like this is a bit of a lost cause case?
yeah.
Lorik, would you like to return to the main room?
Yeah. Alright, the Blood Mage has whipped herself into a frenzy and either seems incapable of speech or entirely unwilling to speak in the first place.
Anything to note other than that is...
She
Do you
is
get
attempting to
any-
cast using her own blood, but that's being stopped by the ropes that she's being bound with. I suggest that we let her tire herself out to a point where she has no choice but to actually listen to words and proceed with the others for the time being, coming back to her in several hours or so.
Let me run one attempt at something, and if it doesn't work, sure.
Alright.
Darius is going to walk into the room. He will like peek his head in sort of like a more like timid manner, and his posture is generally not very like rolled back shoulders or anything, but a little more meager.
She is half-faced towards you with the position that she was left in, and it's more of the same, just the general frothing, raging, thrashing.
Give me 1 second to check my... I want to cast Detect Evil and Good.
Okay. Up to 10 minutes. Alright. The first one gives no triggers. Hold on. Just making sure. You do detect the desecration on her person.
Like, is it obvious if it's literally her person
It
or
is
if it's
her
literally
person.
Okay.
She does not have a soul.
Oh shit.
My.
Do you
Poor
mind
thing.
making me a religion check real quick?
Sure. Funny haha 0.
Funny, haha,
13.
0 is good enough. It's a very similar feeling to what it was like when you were a soul yourself. A little bit of that, not necessarily. The sense that comes off of them is one that they are not in control of themselves.
Hmm. Interesting. He's going to turn around and leave, and like as he exits the room, he's going to say, "Lorik, did you sense anything else? I casted detect good and evil, and they are desecrated. They don't have a soul currently. I don't. The best I can describe it is what it felt like when I was under thrall of Nidhogg.
I hadn't noticed that when I tried to determine if there was any outsider influence, but
You'd noticed what?
somehow our winged friend there, I was able to detect their presence even through the walls. That's
So then they're not through the wall there, and he points into the thing. I think the winged one is the one we should approach first.
aye, and they're likely to be the most amenable to reason. I will say that after we've given her a chance to tire out over a few hours, maybe a protection from evil and good spell might, well, do some good to try and help her see reason.
At
Well, if
least
she
maybe-
doesn't have a soul, she may never tire.
it's not exactly like that. If she didn't have a soul at all, she wouldn't be moving. She wouldn't be she would be something else. But it's pretty clear that they were their own individual being beforehand. We just don't know if that's still the case or
Either way, it's still worth attempting the spell to see
the
if it's
celestial will yield
an
the
act
most.
of possession or something of the sort. But yes,
Do you want to go in first? Do you want me to go in first? Should we go in with multiple?
I think I should start accompanying for now on in case something happens and they manage to be able to cast something.
If one of them
Good
is
point.
possessed, then that is a reasonable precaution.
Darius, I think that you and Srinov should go in this time. I doubt that this winged one would exactly take kindly to one of my kind, given, our iconoclastic tendencies.
Indeed. Well, alright, Sternhoff. Rifter, do you want to accompany with, stand in the corner, be a little menacing?
Sure, sounds lovely.
Alright. And he hops on Hots. I mean, he hops into the the room. He opens the door, sort of. Are they facing away, just
They
like
are
the
facing away as well. What you
Alright.
do see as you enter is both the wings being tightly bound behind with the same sort of silvery cord, but also the cowl, which was previously over their head, is currently pulled completely down, and you see behind it their pitch black hair which droops behind the chair.
Alright.
As he enters, he's going to open the door halfway and knock on it to like let them know that he's coming in, and then go all the way in. Sort of gesture behind him for the two of them standing on the wall.
Rifter's just gonna sit in the corner and silently sharpen his blades. Silently
There's
as he
a
can.
bit of a panicked breathing for a moment, but ultimately they don't say anything.
Listen. And he's going to take a couple steps forward, and he's not going to turn the chair, and he's going to keep it. So are they facing towards the corner of the room, or towards like the wall?
Towards the back.
Okay. Then he's literally just going to like sit down on the ground next to them, facing the same wall that they are. This doesn't need to be antagonistic. This doesn't need to be... I don't know. We're not looking for you to give up your lives in information that will surely get you killed. We just want to know why the hell you attacked us.
His breathing grows a little bit more frenzied for just a moment, and he's trying to calm himself down for a second. He just puts out the words, "The other two? Are they
The girl, the one that casts blood magic, she's in something of a frenzy right now, and she seems desecrated. I'm not sure what's
His
happening.
eyes go a little bit wider. Her book, please." He's stumbling over his words a little bit. He's clearly, obviously, very panicked and not necessarily.
I want
entirely.
to help you. What do we need to do to help her?
He's clearly very torn. He like wants to say it, but he also knows that you're his captor, and you're able to tell that he has a lot of that, and he's trying to make up his mind, and instead he's just stumbling over words that don't really make sense right now.
You need to make it. You can either help your friends, or you can refuse to trust me.
He just sheds a few tears real quick, and he comes to his senses after a few seconds. Ilya, her book, she touched it one time. She found it, and it sucked her soul into it. If she doesn't get back, she like melts into like just a puddle of goop, like the other people she found. If you just please get it back to her.
All right. If we can find a way to safely get it onto her without us risking, I want to help. I don't want her to die. But here, Rifter, can you find out where that book is and get that to her, please?
Alright, where'd you stash the stuff? Or I guess that would be... Yeah, alright.
He knows where it is.
I'm gonna pop out, I guess Cable and Shinhoff would know, so you just ask Cable. He's gotta go, find the book, and when he does, he's going to grab, like, a big pair of tongs, like some sort of, like, long appendage for grabbing, and he's going to carefully grab it with said tong.
The tome. Where did you find it? Where did she find it? Did she ever speak to you about it?
We were all there. We were back when all of this started. We were sent out to fuck. And a few tears go down. He's holding it for a moment.
He's going to look at him and say, "May I cast something to help you calm down a little bit? Collect yourself."
He just looks at you with sad eyes. And perhaps one of the most terrified faces you've seen. despite their exceptionally radiant aura that they have about them, it also comes along with an surprising veil of innocence.
I won't cast it if I don't have your permission.
They nod barely.
He's going to put his hand on his shoulder and, using his innate UNT spellcasting, he's going to say, "Relax," and cast Suggestion.
It goes down the stifled tears. Hey, when then all this started, we were sent up north into some forests around Tarnos, and one of the places we were supposed to hit, it had this he's I don't know, these just big balls of just intestines and guts and blood, and we fought our way through. We were supposed to steal something from it, and it was there as one of the things, and it just, she's been relying on it since.
Why is it that you are all currently under the employ of whoever it is you're under the employ of? You don't seem to be particularly malicious from what I can tell.
They look at you for a moment, and you're not too bad yourself.
I'm hardly genuine. I wish I could be.
After a little bit more, they pull themselves together because it's the right thing.
That's what I believe too. So why are we at odds then? I feel like we're working under conflicting information here. Who are you working for? What are you doing?
Over the course of a few minutes, you managed to parse together the general idea that a middle-aged woman with black hair managed to, around the beginning of the war, start assembling a group of people to have a task force go searching, strike specific targets, and also as a subsequent part in the less direct way, that for many of the people within the territories, it's being framed much more in a way of all of these bad things have happened because, like, Volstrom people have had to go and help with the other territories, and it's like they can't keep sacrificing their own people for it, sort of deal.
Oh my.
Which is, as he explained it to you, certainly has elements of truth, although it's definitely less true than your version.
It's propagandistic. It's war propaganda.
Right, it is war propaganda, but it also still isn't just blatant lies. It's also,
Just like in the way of, at the end of World War I, pinning all the blame on Germany and tanking its economy definitely was a bad thing that fucked with and caused World War II.
Right.
But we don't excuse Hitler because of it.
Right.
Lamau.
He's gonna take a second to process the information. Is Rifter back in the room at this point?
Yeah, he would have by this point come back. He has the book in
Can
Tom's.
we hold off on that for? Oh, okay. Sorry, you're going straight into that room. You're not. Okay. Gotcha.
No. I'm going into this room.
Gotcha.
With Darius and Chad.
Take that to
Or
her,
well,
Rifter.
Darius
What
and
are you-
Chad. Law. Wait. I want to say something first. and he looks down. I would like it to make an insight check on this guy. Rifter does not initially believe this guy.
Go for it. At the moment, they're genuine. They seem like almost a child in much more of a man-angel type body.
As he looks into his eyes and he realizes this, he gives him a very stern but lighter look, and he says, "Don't make me regret this." And yeah, he's gonna pop out of the room. And then whenever loading screen.exe DM is ready, he will bring the book into the room with her.
DM man is ready.
Okay, cool. In that case, he's gonna go ahead and place the book gently on her lap.
Like you don't even have to do that. Like immediately as you enter the room, she manages to stop thrashing. The book glows for just a moment, and then it's fine, and she's just panedly breathing like she's been beat within an inch of her life.
Oh, that looks like a very nasty sort you got yourself into.
She barely manages to have her lips space apart from each other as she's just choking up a little bit of blood from earlier.
And Rifter's gonna go ahead and take out. He's gonna look for any sort of paper if he has to, anything to wipe off the blood. He's gonna gently wipe that off.
As you do so, you notice that the ropes, which are supposed to quote unquote absorb all the magic that they can, are beginning to be quite blood soaked themselves, despite previously from what the group communicated having absorbed all of the blood, meaning that it started to reach a little bit of capacity, but it doesn't seem that she knows that right now. After wiping off some of the blood, she managed to put a very faint whisper of a thank you.
You're welcome. So, you mind telling me, get to it when you're ready, why you tried to kill me mates? And he's actually going to peek his head over, and he's gonna like signal Lork and Sternhoff, like, get the fuck over here.
Sternhoff is in the room.
Yeah, I think I'm still in the other room.
Lork is going to kind of duck under the doorway a bit, come in, and offer her a nice 5 points of lay on hands because he saw that she coughed up a bit of blood there.
Darius coincidentally looks at Sternhoff and says, "I doubt you're going to need to worry about him doing anything rash. You can head out if you'd like."
Help on the others.
In that case, yeah,
Leaves the room.
he's gonna go ahead and be like,
Would you guys mind actually walking to the rooms you're in?
Oh, yeah.
and yeah, he basically just he's waiting on her. He's still giving up a composure, very nice, very calm, like there. But he's looking over to his every chance he get. He's like looking over to Sternhoff and Lork, and he's pointing to the blood on the rope, like, nice.
Alright. Schernhoff, do you think you could get one of the guards to replace?
Yeah, I'll be back.
Would you mind making me a deception check real quick?
Me or Sternhoff?
You.
Me, okay.
2. 3, maybe.
Alright, given
Insane.
her completely bloodied state, you actually are able to say it quietly enough that she doesn't hear it.
Hell yeah.
Because that would have been bad.
From there, we're just gonna. He's not actually like directly in front of her. He's like basically in this corner, like waiting. Like, so love, any day. The sooner that you answer me questions, the sooner we can be done with this.
Firstly, I would like to say that I apologize for not recognizing what was causing you to thrash earlier. That was negligent on my part, and I'm sorry that your health had to be put in the hands of someone else.
I don't even remember, so
All right.
Blood under the bridge?
Well, that's what we'd like to do about this whole, you attacking them, love. You mind, filling us in?
If I see that Adric's alright.
Adric being the angel.
He gives a brief nod.
He was actually the one who told us to bring your book to you.
He has a brief chuckle and under her breath, just barely loud enough for Rifter to hear, and basically none of the others. Thanks. Yeah. Right. So just for that, she just looks at you again, Lord. How much do you think you're in the right?
I would wager as much as you do.
And we'd heard that some of the I've always been trying to think that maybe they could change, but no. People like you always keep proving that it's gonna stay the same no matter what cruelties happen.
People like us? What do you mean?
She just laughs or not even laughs, just a single chuckle and an exhale, and no, people like him, the Elmarovs in power, just keep going at it over and over and over again. Never willing to change or get with the times. It's half the reason all of this mess is happening.
Oh, I wish you knew how wrong you were.
I think in this case it's appropriate to inform you that I have actually
I
not
guess
as aligned
since
with my-
you're we can get to that part in a moment, since I guess his part's
Yeah.
more readily accessible. She's like,
back to there.
what? No, I guess the Rifter part that Rifter
Okay.
said. What, you think it's just a petty war between the two people just for what? Just freedom? Like, as much as people would like to believe that, no, it's to
Not
put
at all.
an end to it all. The fucking assassins eliminating nobles everywhere they can, trying to supplant what little autonomy we have left.
Hey, good on him. Listen, love, and Rifter's gonna go ahead and he pulls down his clothing a little so she can just see a bit of the cut underneath his arm. They did this to me because I was different, born like this. The Vostroms are nothing more than villains.
And what of the rest of them? The ones caught in the crossfire? Which she lists off
Rifter.
a few examples and a few names of local lords who, like, she describes as though they were friends, which it's very likely that they were, being cut down with little more evidence than just simple disappearing.
Rifter, I
She
don't
prescribes that to the Subtilitas.
Yeah.
Good in getting mad that the good people, the ones who are trying to actually make a change, to have it so that all of this bullshit actually stops, and it's just cutting it down because it doesn't fit. Which I would imagine rings true a little bit, because, he tried to, they tried to stop you guys because you guys didn't fit with the plan.
Mhm.
I am going to defer to Lork talking to Rifter because that was
I'm going to need you to take a bit of a backseat here. I
What?
don't think that the talk of revolution is going to exactly help make things better.
My man, she's just an enemy combatant.
And that's exactly the point of view that will not bridge the gap.
What?
Trust me here. Please.
All right, you're still trying to play this nice mother hen. Okay, sure. But all I'm saying is, I give you 5 minutes to get anything worthwhile, or I'm busting up the knives.
Fine.
Darius having a nice conversation with the good lad. Rifter stabbing somebody.
She just laughs a little bit and she's like, what, after seeing what I do, you think anything you'll do will manage?
Oh, you have no idea.
Rifter, wait outside for those 5 minutes, please.
He's
God,
waiting
I wish
outside.
Darius was in this room because he has so much in common with this bitch.
Rifter's gonna pop into the Darius room and inform him of what transpired.
Darius, do you wanna? Well, what kind of questions, since he's playing along? What are you answering as the follow-ups?
He's basically just so he opens by like he goes through the whole. Do you know what happened in the Capitol? I was there. I watched people get run over, beat down after the leaders were like talking about racial supremacy, that kind of thing. The massacre, forcing people out of their homes. Like he just runs through all that and like gives his perspective on why he believes he's fighting for the right thing, and just asks, "Do you still believe that what you're doing is right? And can we help each other do the right thing together?"
He goes through in this different examples of like officials from Tarnos coming through and like butchering neighborhoods to make way for the the Barca enclave, discussing things about the about like different instances where just entire groups of people had been like neighborhoods just evacuated, quote unquote, as they've been sent to be drafted for like the front war, and just how if you think that the people who had to be evicted for that was great numbers, imagine what it's like when like entire quarters of cities disappear.
I'm not disagreeing with you. We've had our own run-ins with the Dumb Rev institution ourselves. However, there's more at play here. This war, it's not a fight that you choose who you want to side with. It's a fight where you choose what the least harm you can do is. Not the best thing, but the least.
They give the surprisingly wise response, given that they seem to, be a young kid, in saying that like the Tarnosians should just just bite their honor and stop the war. Like it's semi well known knowledge that like the Savage Kingdoms have attempted to like put peace treaties in multiple times, but it's High Stones that don't accept that. And so, saying that they have to somehow make them realize.
All right, I agree. They should stop waging war on my kingdoms. Yeah, he like looks him in the eye when he says that. However, do you think, truly, that if they stop war with the Savage Kingdoms, that the Volstroms will stop their genocide?
He mulls it over for a second and simply gives the statement that they won't have to. They can just leave and go where they need to.
That's still a genocide. It's not as simple as only killing things. Mass extinction of culture, forced migration, these things, they are genocide. They are... Neither institution is a perfect one. Neither are even close. However, we have the power to change one for the better, and the power to stop one And I believe that if one is to be on top, if one must be, then it should be the one that we have the power to make better. I'm not trying to have a philosophical debate. I'm not trying to convince you to join our side. I'm sure you have your reasons for fighting the way you do, for those you do. I just want to understand, and I don't want to be in conflict with you, because it's very clear to me that we shouldn't be.
He has a tear that falls to the floor and kind of shatters into this almost crystalline blue and kind of sits there with dust after a little bit, which is a pretty interesting moment, and he just relents to the idea that even if it's wrong, I'd choose to save my friends that I know from being sent to certain death, as sad as it. And he can't even finish the sentence.
There's nothing wrong with wanting to protect those close to you. I understand that. At the end of the day, while we fight currently for the Empire, we are not soldiers of the Empire, and I believe there is a better solution than siding with either one.
They're going to look at you and ask you if you can have Rifter leave for a moment.
He will nod, and nod his head like to the side, like.
Rifter just keeps getting kicked out of every room.
And he's going to look at, before he does, he's going to look at Rifter and say, "Why are you so grumpy?"
Oh, just a bunch of people being wrong in rooms. It's very upsetting.
Rifter, don't think like that, please. These are people who have gone through hardships like you, just in different lenses and different manners. Why can't you see them as fellow slaves instead of adversaries?
Oh, I see him as one.
They're oppressed by different systems, sure, but they're still oppressed by them.
Mate, I never said he wasn't any of those things. I'm just saying he's wrong.
Yeah, just like you and I are as well, for siding with the Empire.
Temporarily aligned is how I like to think of it.
Regardless, our actions benefit them. Nonetheless,
For now.
don't do anything to any of them. Please. I feel like this is something that can be resolved, and hopefully we can help each other. And then he's going to turn back. Alright, get out of here, Rifter.
So at this point, you think it's fair to say that the camera pans back to the first room?
I would think
Yeah.
so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rift, in just a brief second, Rifter, as you exit, you peer through the little window, and you see as like their heads are a little bit close as they're whispering to each other.
Guy.
So, Lorik is going to say to the Blood Mage, "Look, despite my appearances, despite this, I do not support Clan Delmarov. I do not support my order. Rather, I have long fought to tear it down and build it from the ground up. If that makes any sense. Look, I can... Lorik is going to
Make
rummage
me
through...
persuasion.
Okay, yeah. Lorik is going to also rummage through his pack to try and find one kind of core piece of evidence that will help there. And after a bit of rummaging, while he's kind of distractedly saying that, he pulls out Kivas's emblem. Executor Kivas of the Subtilitas, who you mentioned has committed countless atrocities against you and your people, fell by my hand. He has, to my knowledge, been replaced by an imposter who is working to subvert the order from the inside. And his nominus was slain by one of my allies, and subsequently replaced as well. I am not the type to say I fight for change while doing nothing and growing fat off my savings. I'm willing to put all on the line to preserve and protect that which I want, and that which I care about, much like you do.
She just scoffs, and that's exactly the problem.
Hi. It is. All of us here have, pardon the expression, blood on our hands. In the end, yes, I am no better than my kinsmen. I have killed, I have lied, I have fought to bring about what I believe to be right. But I'm coming to you now because I truly believe that my allies and your allies can truly find some way forward. We can find an understanding. We can end this war and the war with the Savage Kingdoms.
Is this around when Rifter probably enters back in?
I mean, sure. He was kicked out though, so I mean.
No, to the Lorik one.
Oh, I see.
He's bouncing back and forth.
Yeah. Okay. So 5 minutes have passed. Rifter walks into the room.
As Rifter makes his way through, you just see, as for a brief moment, it looks like she's actually like seriously understanding Lorik, and then she just breaks into laughter, just an absolute gaggle of it, and just that stretch. She almost had me for a second. Oh no, I'm not buying this whole. Oh, look at me! I'm anonymous. Who's gonna change the world? I'm gonna be the better guy than the others. No,
Rifter,
I
would you
don't buy it.
care to repeat Kivos's dying words to her?
Rifter does so because I do not remember.
And she's just. And what's that supposed to mean?
It's supposed to serve as some additional proof that my words are not empty.
Parentheses. There's nothing that indicates that those would be Kivos's words.
Do you know who? All right. Well, regardless, love. The whole idea is that we're not just trying to take down one room. We're trying to take down the whole building. We'll particularly care for the way most things are run. But it seems that there's an opportunity to knock one of them off the board. So we're taking it.
She kind of slams the chair. She kind of hops with it, trying to do something, but clearly doesn't work at all. And she's just getting frustrated and just yells out about how that's always the problem. No one's ever willing to think longer than the problem in front of it. Sure, we solve this problem and that problem and that problem, but no one's going after the big issues. It's just going to continue doing the same thing with different people.
My people do not have the time to wait. He is slowly killing them, don't you understand? If I wait, Lord knows how long, it's an existential threat, love. It ain't just, oh, let's wait, let's see how things go. No. It's here or we die.
And she just gives the response, and whoever comes after will do more of the same. It may not be to you, it may not be to me, but it'll be to someone else. And until we stop and change the whole thing and get that, she uses a few very interesting words in other languages that I would be surprised if either of you understood. Off that big shiny ass throne of his. That's gonna keep happening.
Oh, well. I understand that completely, and I sympathize. But, one revolutionary to another, gotta pick our battles. That's a long-term project. But this is a bit more short-term.
That's exactly the god's damned problem.
Look,
You may also be interested to know that, as you put it, I'm not going to repeat all that because, frankly, that's too many languages for one conversation. His son is, to an extent, bankrolling some of the Volstrom's operations. He is a scion and a threat to this realm.
Is this the part where you honeypot and you, oh look, here are all the good things that we're gonna help share? No.
Not at all.
She's just dismissive completely.
Okay, I think we've had our talks. A lovely chat with tea. But, here, I have a counter offer. You're our bitch. We own you. I have this, and he pulls out a dagger. You're gonna start talking and telling us who you work for, why you did it. All the nice,
Comically,
lovely
at this
details.
exact point, Darius opens the door and says, I believe your friend should be in here.
You see as Rift is kind of holding it right above her leg in like a stabbing motion. He's like holding it
Rift
like
is
as
probably
if he's gonna
holding
like.
Rifter's shoulder, trying to keep him
He's
from
more
going
so
too far in.
lightly poking her, like not with enough force to actually do anything, but like on like her shoulder, he's just like tapping it lightly on the very tip of it.
Just the tip.
Yes. So the room is just completely going to shit with Lorik, Rifter, and the Blood Mage all kind of.
Yeah, Darius is standing here with the angel behind him, untied, just like standing next to him. He's leading him to the room.
Rifter
Lorik is trying to forcibly put himself between the two so that.
Rifter pulls out his dagger. Why is he out?
We've come to an understanding.
Okay, all right. I guess we don't do this.
Don't do what I explicitly asked you not to.
Hey, I was only threatening it.
Lorik mouths a thank you to Darius.
He's just gonna enter. I'm so sorry for whatever the hell they put you through.
He just looks past you. Hey, Adric. Hey, Ilya.
Rifter, I think it's time that both of us
She
left.
then asks, how's Emma? Supposedly they haven't gotten to her yet, so probably just lonely.
Jesus. Or whatever the this world's
Snake
equivalent of
Jesus.
Jesus is. Whoever Snake Jesus is.
Jesus.
You know what?
Jesus.
Nidhogg probably does have a
Jesus.
few fancy-ass disciples. I assume you're
Ooh.
leaving her tied up for now while the rest of you leave?
Sure enough hasn't come back with the guard to replace the ropes yet, has he?
Schoenhoff?
No, I haven't. Should I be doing that?
That depends. Have you gotten your burger yet?
Oh, I forgot about that.
I
Go
thought
get
you
your
were. I
burger.
thought that's what you were doing. Oh my
You
god!
didn't tell me to
I
use
thought
that,
you
so I didn't.
conveniently wrote
I
yourself
can wait.
out of the
I can keep
story so
waiting.
that you could go do that.
Go burger!
Nah,
I'm
Go
gonna use the
burger.
bathroom quick
He's not
while
back yet. He's gonna
Oh,
go
God.
burger.
I
Go
can
burger.
wait.
Go burger.
Whatever.
Oh my lord.
Oopsie. Uh-oh, stinky.
Well, so how did this, before Rifter turned it into a circus knife show, how was it going?
Oh, she ain't saying a word.
This is why I wanted to start with being as good as possible. These things can be avoided if we just get to understand who these people are. Alright.
Well, I understand perfectly who she is.
She's stubborn and headstrong, but she's not that it means much to you all, because clearly it can't be helped, but I trust her with my life, so here we are.
Apparently so. And he's going to like put his hand to his chest and like stiffen up and like bow down and hold the bow while he says it. I'm deeply sorry about your other companion.
Well, we'll just go where he is, grab the body, and we'll try to find someone who can help.
He nods. I'll be
Hopefully
more
his
than happy to
soul
do
will
that.
still be willing in a day or two, assuming you let us out. If not, would you, at least if we do have to stay contained for acceptable measures, would you at least be so kind to do so in our stead?
I'll make it my priority.
Thank you.
You think we can what's the disposition of your other companion? Are we going to have similar problems with that, or I can't imagine.
If I were to guess, she'd probably be sullen at losing her partner, but as
So,
he looks behind to the other room, since, you know, you've discussed the whole dealio,
Mm-hmm.
she, I don't know, she'd probably have been strong until she wasn't.
Well, do you want to gather everyone up so that we can have a genuine conversation instead of captor to captive?
Alright, I'm back, sorry. I was
Wait, wait. Why are we giving up our leverage? I need to understand why people who try to murder us are, walking around free.
Rifter, let's say, for example, that I, for whatever reason, was on the guard for Philip Volstrom that day. I didn't know who Philip Volstrom was, but I was on the guard that day. And for no particular reason, you shot at Philip Volstrom, on, at least from my perspective, and I tried to kill you in defense of the person I was guarding. Would you then hold that same loathing against me?
Yeah, you took a job to protect someone you didn't even know.
And for that matter, he did hold quite a level of loathing against you for quite some time.
And yet, here we are, and you don't have that anymore, I assume anyways.
I mean, kinda? Listen, mate, it's all circumstantial.
We can,
Exactly.
if you can put down the hatred for 5 minutes.
I'm
can make
not
the
talking
world
about
better.
hatred. This is purely professional. They tried to kill you. They are enemy combatants. I would like to know why we are allowing said people to just roam free. Personal or otherwise.
Adric interrupts at the tail end of that, and he just says, "It's Rifter, right?"
Aye.
Yeah, he looks at Darius. As much as I hate to say it, I think he's right.
He's a bore. He doesn't...
Yeah, I don't let people who tried to kill me a few months back. Yeah, I don't just let them go and walk away. Yeah, I'm
It's
a
not
bit
about
more
letting
not
them
trusting.
go. It's about convening and making a big difference. It's about actually stopping what happened to you from happening to more people. Or do you not care about that? Do you only care about your petty revenge? Do you only care about what happened to you?
No, I'm just asking why. Like, why is he working with us?
Because he wants to make a difference in the same way that we do. And that's good enough for me.
Fine.
Now, I think Emma would be willing to help us, but Ilya is, I think she's too hot-tempered, and we should probably finish anything we're doing before we go and help her if we're going to.
Alright. A little bit of context before we do end up having a conversation with her, because it will happen. I also have an experience of having my soul beholden to something else, so hopefully I can have a more soul-to-soul conversation.
She didn't seem to take too kindly to the revolutionary talk, or she was starting to before Rifter walked back in. That may have just been timing, but
I don't know. It doesn't matter. We can't just be pointing fingers at each other right now.
I know. I'm just saying the timing was unfortunate.
Alright, so then, Emma it was, you said?
He nods.
He nods back and makes his way into the room.
Lork is going to follow. Rifter, why don't you acquaint yourself with Adric a bit better?
I think Adric's coming in too.
Alright then.
I would assume Adric's staying here because it's crowded
Okay.
rooms.
Okay.
As you enter, the room is both A, much colder, and B, there's a puddle of ice on the floor.
Darius grabs the amulet on his around his neck and squeezes it and makes himself a little bit warmer.
Would you like the cloak?
No, it's all right. It's just a little bit of shock.
No worries.
I believe your friend.
There's there's two little stalagmites of ice coming up from the ground, which are drops from her tears.
Lork is
And,
going to throw his
was
cloak over Darius' shoulders.
He will step forward like as he does that. I don't know if the cloak would like slip off or if he would have it on him, but he's going to approach and say, "Emma, I believe your name is."
She looks up with a weird mixture of remorse and spite.
I'm sorry about what happened, but if we resolve this quickly, we can make our way to his corpse, and perhaps we can... Oh, you're very cold. Perhaps we can bring his soul back.
She just turns away and closes her eyes. A very stifled whimpering.
I truly do want to help you. You said the angel name was Adrith?
Adric.
Right? Adric. Adric is already out and conversing with some of the rest of us. He's not locked up anymore. We've come to an understanding. This was a very... It was unfortunate that we had to be at odds, but we can make this better, and we can help each other forward.
She, after a few seconds, looks up and shuffles out a few words. You better not have laid a hand on him.
Not at all. I can bring you out to see him if you'd like.
He does still have the cloak on him, just to.
It's
He's
very
just like
cold.
standing
Like, it
next
is
to a
exceptionally
frost
cold.
generator, so
Yeah, fair.
In a small, semi-insulated room.
Good point.
You
Yeah.
guys remember the Hydra fight?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cold.
Yeah.
besides, I'd love to get out of this room. I'm not exactly very warm-blooded.
Sure.
He's going to stand up, unbind her feet, but keep her arms bound. It's just for now, I'm sorry. And lead her out of the room.
She follows, and upon seeing Adric, she moves over to him and, gets as close to hugging him as she can, which is just putting both of her arms around one side as Adric returns it.
Lork's gonna
There's
pat Darius
a
down.
brief part of them talking about Ilya and catching up on that. Then she moves and takes a seat.
Good.
Oh, Lork sits on her apparently as well.
I was gonna say, as Darius leaves the room, Lork's going to just pat him down a little bit to try and get rid of any ice crystals that had formed on the cloak and him and all that.
Ooh. He is like running his hand down his arms, like trying to generate friction on his skin.
Lork
It's
is
still
going to commit
cold in
Space
this
Eater.
room as she enters, but it's also much less cold than the other one, both by just actual temperature, but also in that it seems that with her being less sullen about it, that it's less severe.
All right.
It's at the very least not freezing.
And Darius, keep the cloak for the time being.
Thank you.
I can't do much more to warm you up right now, but
It was
hopefully
it's
it
more than
helps.
enough. Thank you. I feel so much better out here. Ugh. So, have you made up, Rifter?
Guy hasn't said a word to me, but I'm down to make friends.
Sorry, was that alright, I'll bite what's your deal? Was that supposed to be to him?
Yeah.
I did not know, and I was also,
That's fine. That's
not
fine.
sure.
Okay, we'll just say
we can,
have it conversed.
yeah.
You can wreck on it.
Do you
right now if you want.
do you wanna roll me a persuasion real quick? I know this is
Persuasion?
weird, but it's like I think it's the most fitting thing here, just for a moment.
All right. Okay. I don't even know if I have. Oh, I did.
6.
No.
17!
Yo.
The as the two of you converse, and he's exceptionally, just like earlier, forthcoming, and you'd probably use the term, or I guess Rifter would probably use the term gullible, but nonetheless, he's a very true-spoken kid, and he means what he says, and it's very much one of those things where he still thinks he's in the right, but it turns out that you're both still kind of in the same idea of being like, oh yeah, fuck that big man.
Yeah.
It's like,
Essentially,
hey,
how this.
yeah, Highstone's the real problem, so like just cut the crap and just like try to deal with that. The rest of it's an unfortunate side effect.
Yeah, Rifter basically leans into the conversation as like a hey, fuck the system, man. So they bond over that. But Rifter does explain to him that what he means and says, because he feels the group is giving him a bad rap, is enemy combatants he views in a soldier's perspective. It doesn't matter, he personally or not, whether he likes them or not.
they're on opposite sides of a war. They're a threat. But now that we're working things out, he's willing to accommodate because that was the only, grudge he had.
He has a bit of a smile and he leaves his cloak down still. And he's glad that happened. So now the party can enter and be, hey, Rifter, did you guys catch up?
You make up?
Yeah, we're all hugs and kisses now.
Well, that's good. So,
what exactly are we gonna do now?
that is the question.
I guess what's next, right? Like, they're here. They're gonna start working with us. They're gonna just chill out here. What are we
I
doing?
think we should have a conversation first. You're all fighting for change. I understand that, and we want to fight for change too. However, I think we're both coming at it from the wrong angle. We chose sides in a war that doesn't make a difference in the big picture. The side that we've chosen, either of us, won't change what happens in the future. It won't prevent this from cycling back on itself.
Aye.
But what we can do is choose a different path. One that we forge ourselves, outside of the influence of either of the Empire or of the territories, the Volstroms. But for now, we still need to use these kingdoms as vessels for our movement.
Full stop?
He's like sort of like adding like a dot question mark to the end of it, like seeing how they
Adric
take
is
on
responding affirmatively. Emma is just sullen still.
Emma, I'm going at some point once we have finished this conversation to find his body. If you would like to come with me.
There's clearly a lot of confusion going through her head as she's trying to rationalize it, and sometime later in the conversation, after a few more questions, she ends up looking up at you and nodding and accepting.
All right. So, I think you all are quite powerful. You've done enough to show me, at the very least, that you are qualified to understanding that this entire conflict is recursive upon itself. It is caused and perpetuated by one actor, one being that seeks to cause chaos, the son of the Emperor. And while the threat does originate from the Empire, we chose the Empire as our vessel because it allows us to get closer to the threat.
Adric's jaw sort of drops for a moment. He recomposes himself and he's like, wow, Ilya was right. Wow. Yeah, okay. She said for a while after getting that new book of hers that she thought he was a crazy son of a bitch. Her words, not mine.
Did she ever say how she knew that?
No, she didn't.
I earlier
I know.
asked
It's
if I...
not connected. It
Okay.
did not trigger.
Okay.
He describes the scene a little bit. Yay, he's back. Strinhoff gets back and the guard goes and the question is, are they gonna retie Ilya?
He's
At the
going to
time being,
actively
yes.
ask the angel, do you think we should retie her? Or bindings are a little bit frayed from her fury without
As long as the
tome.
book's in there, I think she'll be fine. She probably needs to. And he starts to say cool off or chill out, and then he's like, you know what? She needs to calm down.
All right. If you believe that it is best for her to be rebound, then it shall be. If you do not think that it is right, then we will not. And he motions for the rebinding. Then since he's
The
into a fire.
communication goes through. He talks a little bit more about the situation in which he found the book, and how it very clearly maps almost one-to-one to one of those types of underground facilities, minus mushroom lads. Just with like a little bit of those flesh boyos and all that.
So they did encounter the flesh then.
Right.
So those things that you fought, we have also fought them. We refer to them as the flesh, and in some parts they are related to Seiron. In greater part they're related to something else, much, much further down, but for your own sake, I don't think you want to get into that.
Well, that makes things a lot harder then. I'm scared that we're losing Ilya as the weeks go by. She's feeling less like herself, and from some of the when we took it away from some of the other people, they went from being themselves and just disappeared into that goop. Turned into that flesh, I guess. That's what we're calling it.
Well, we will, at least I will try to find out a way to free your friend's soul. We found a way to free my soul, so I think it not too far of a stretch that we could free yours, or hers. At least an attempt, anyways.
We have found that spells like a protection from evil and good can mitigate the impact of creatures of that sort. Do I have your permission to attempt casting a spell of that sort on her to, I don't know, try and bring some succor to her?
I worry that
Maybe
if
yours
her soul...
is some kind different than ours, but I've tried dozens of times on her in the book. I've tried that, I've tried removing curses, I've tried restorations.
Alright. I'm sorry, I should have assumed that you would have done that.
Malvi, any updates on anything related to Seiron? He just says out into the open.
Suspiciously, there is no response.
Oh no.
In fact, Mouthy has not said anything for a few days.
Yeah, he hasn't. Darius just assumed he was getting really good at being quiet.
But now, of course, the alarm bells of some kind start to go off.
Oh no. It's gone. Lord. Oh, I knew something was wrong. Oh! And he gets up and starts pacing. Seiron has done something. Lords. Curses icons and their goddamn supporters. Alright. Something happened, and I was oblivious to it. Persis! He was our one lead.
What would that be?
The mouth. It's gone.
What? How did you... Alright.
I'm sorry, this sounds insane. Probably sounds insane to the two of you. We were in Seiron's personal mansion. We were exploring. We found a trap that he had set for people who were too nosy. Some sort of magical thing attached itself to me, and it had some sort of a psychic connection to Seiron. And it
So
was
wait, you all were being too nosy to him?
yeah. I mean,
Alright, I guess we're more on the same side than I thought. That gives
Our-
me much better confidence. Thank you.
our entire reason for wanting to go into Korheim is specifically to find evidence to present that condemns him.
We actually found one of his facilities under Korheim thanks to the aid of Strudenhoff here.
I'm gonna murder him.
Speaking of, that's going to be rather difficult to get into now that certain changes have occurred. Or maybe it won't be. Maybe that replacement did imbue it into him instead of the necklace. Regardless. Again, we're talking about things that...
Aye. Or, of course, we can simply, with the aid of some powerful casters, move the earth out of the way.
But the point being that the creature that was attached to me, whatever it was, is gone now, which means Seiron has done something. Seiron has taken an action. He's severed it from me, it from him, both. I no longer have that connection to determine potentially knowing his motives, knowing it was the one lead we potentially had. And it's gone now.
Bother.
I wonder if that may have been the result of one of our teleportations or something similar.
We'll figure it out later. For now, we need to stay on track. Who is it exactly that you were reporting to? Do you know their name, their position?
He doesn't have a name. He describes them a little bit, and Emma eventually just speaks up. This is a little bit after she eventually takes you up on your offer, and like actually properly. Give me a second. Ouch. Thank you, Occam's Razor. She is able to pretty clearly describe it as pretty much just saying, yeah, it was Lillian, but she, like, you know, dyed her hair and all that, or trying to be undercover or something like that.
Fun.
How Adric just kind of butts in a little bit and just there's clearly you've shown that you've been able to best us. Do you how much more do you think you had in you?
I was taking a lot. I have multiple things that I had access to that I did not end up using.
I say it because and he stutters as he begins to say it, but then resolves himself. There's a few more people like us, ones that situated somewhat nearby down the path as they get closer to the Volstrom Manor. They there's this underground, but not underground in the same way. Like I guess encampment where a lot of the other mages wait, and go out and do their missions from trying to disrupt local situations, just doing hit and run raids, but they has this one spot underneath that gives a he stops for a moment and just looks at Rifter. So what all did they do to you?
Oh, it's complicated. They resurrected a guy I killed. Kind of pissed me off. Haha. It's a lot.
Didn't they specifically say that they merely hired a changeling to take on his face?
Listen, I didn't want to get into all the details. Point is, they're working with people that I don't like, and if I'm gonna have what I want, I gotta put them out of the way. So,
How many of them do you know the intentions of, the motives for? How many of them do you think, with your words or the words of others, could be moved not necessarily to changing sides, but to inaction? How many of them can we save?
There's two of them I definitely know that if I told, they'd be willing to leave, but three of them maybe, and 6 of them are about the same as Ilya up there. But here's the thing, they're like us, we spar together sometimes, and even though the 4 of us were tight before all this went down, they're close to us. If you go in there, it's gonna... I don't know if you'll be able to uphold your end of the bargain.
So then how do you suggest we approach it?
If I try to talk some of them out, I can message them, and I'm almost confident that I can tell them, even if it's not truthful, I can lie to them and give them a reason to leave for a little bit. The rest that stayed down there, if we are trying to make the right difference, I think you're right, and we need to, if we're gonna try to minimize loss of life, there's a direct route to the Volstrom Manor underneath that you can use to sneak in, and that might help minimize casualties.
If we can
Alright.
get in there and end things before they truly start, then...
There's clearly a lot of guilt and question in his words, as he knows that it's quote-unquote the right thing to do, but it's also him condemning some of the people he's worked with, and some that he clearly would describe as friends, but knowing that it saves dozens of lives for each of them, it's a difficult thing for him to go through.
I truly hope you can convince as many of them as possible to leave, not for our sake, but for your own, for their sake. While there are unavoidable casualties in war, that doesn't mean we can't try and minimize them as much as possible. I think we should, he corrects himself, try to be non-lethal while we're moving through.
Aye.
Because while yes, this is war, and yes, they are enemy soldiers, that doesn't mean that they are necessarily in moral league with the Volstroms.
Yeah.
So, we move through, we make our direct route in. Once we find what we need in the manor, we should ideally leave in the fastest way possible. Sternhoff, do you think we can count on you to save enough magic for a teleportation circle directly out?
Yeah, no problem with that.
Alright.
He begins to give you the details of where it specifically is. He generally leads you like using some of the landmarks around where you had your encounter. He describes as you go around a specific hill, begin heading down it, you'll find like a clay-laden path. Following that down until it begins to turn south around a lake, stating the words, by the Crimson Mother I change, will cause a staircase to appear which leads down to it.
Pardon me. What was the phrase one more time?
There we go.
No, I heard
I know, but I'm also putting it down for, meta.
You might already be deep into what we didn't want to tell you. We know who the Crimson Mother is, and that's part of what we didn't want to tell you.
I mean, it's just a passcode. A magic word sequence.
Oh,
Yes, but it's referring to someone specifically. It's... This just confirms, if this is what you're using, to me, to us, that this is absolutely recursive back to Seiron. It is the final nail, to me, in the coffin that...
Now we just have to find something that connects them to him, and we'll have the whole trifecta.
Indeed.
Since we have evidence connecting him and her, and the Volstroms and her, but very little connecting the Volstroms to him.
Indeed. Well... Once he's off the board, or rather, once we've put pressure on his board, I should say, he won't be off the board. He looks... I will ask you, do you truly want to make as much difference as possible? There is something that we're doing that is beyond even this plane, that is the absolute core of this. The cause of those blood monsters you fought. The reason, probably, why your friend has their soul taken. The whole reason why Seiron has this much power. I ask you because you risk everything by even knowing it. Do you want to make this difference?
If you think we can handle it, then I'd be a coward to say otherwise.
I don't know if you could. Hence why I have to ask you. And this isn't something that I can...
I have to.
Alright. I want to get all of your yeses. If even one of you say no, then we're not telling any of you, because it risks all of you by one knowing.
She shakes her head no and attempts to stand up and start making her way through one of the doors.
All right.
Unless you choose to stop her.
Rifter looks at Darius to
he's
see if
going
he can.
I'm not... I don't want to stop you from... Okay. She can go into the room. She should be allowed to mourn on her own. She won't need to mourn for long, hopefully. Do you know what she might say as he points back to Ilya's room?
I think she would, but I don't,
Do you think she's had enough time to cool down?
no, not at all.
No.
She,
Well,
even if she did, if she's affected like you're saying, is it really...
it's not. It's the reason why she's affected, but it isn't the same. I have a sort of sense that is developed within me as a result of constantly being in close to it, in conflict with it, and I can say for certain that she is not. It's not related to the Crimson Mother. It is a byproduct, but not a cause.
Then it both helps everyone else and her, so all the more reason I'm ready.
All right. Well, and he is going to give him a sort of skeleton of Cassandra, Andromache, and Calcus, foregoing one name and one central reason for the conflict for reasons known.
So,
Yeah, he's not going through the whole divorce arc.
this is the part where I bring to you the bad news.
Mm-hmm.
As the conversation progresses, he begins to disappear for a moment. He doesn't notice it at first, but then he looks at his hands and it's like he's just starting to have holes in him that just
He stops.
don't
He
exist.
just immediately stops talking.
He just begins to panic for a moment. He tries to cast a spell on himself to cause it to disappear, and it does not. He panics and he just moves over and gets close to Rifter and grabs him and begins like whispering words into Rifter's ear, specifically along the lines of like he's whispering because his breath's beginning to fail him. It starts off with him yelling from across the room, but then he gets closer as it gets quieter and quieter as he gives you the exact words and who to say it to in his voice while it goes through and telling you to get a message and try to send it to them and giving you the best descriptions of them he can as he just begins to evaporate.
Lorik, can you change his memory? Do you have a spell that can...
No, I don't... Even if I did, I don't have enough magic left for that.
He kind of just falls forward and the last little remnants of his outline just fall through Rifter.
You see as Rifter like holds out his hands to try to catch him as he disappears and fades in Rifter's arms, and he just goes, "Kid."
We're not telling anyone else.
Oh.
No.
Wait.
Lork is going to try and cast Revivify using his last 4th level spell slot because that's all he really has left. It's the only thing he can think to try at this point, but
The spell slot is used, but the materials are not, as there is no suitable target.
Rifter stands up after falling to his knees for a second, and he just looks at Darius and he says,
We're not telling anyone ever.
no.
Could I ask each of you... You know what? Give me a moment. And he's going to step into the room that was cold. And he's just going to be in there for a little bit.
Oh, I shouldn't fucking...
From the other side of the door, there is a muffled... As a light shines, like, very brightly from underneath the door crack. He exits the room composed again, and the back of the door, as he opens it, is black, charred, and the inside of the room is black.
Yeah, my feelings exactly.
Oh,
After the brief bit of fire and the light and the yelling, Emma rushes back out and she's like, "Wait, is everything okay?" And she looks at Darius, who has like the black smut on him. She looks at you, she looks at the door. She rushes in and she's very quickly jumping to conclusions. She runs back and basically tackles Darius, trying to cast spells as she's throwing accusations of him
He's-
betraying Adric and just
He's not resisting. He's just sitting there. A single tear is rolling down the side of his face.
she fair bit more than that is rolling down the side of your face as she hits you for a little bit, and after like 4 or 5 punches she just realizes that you're feeling the same way and just collapses on you, sobbing.
Looks like you made the right decision saying no.
oh.
I don't know. Have any of you ever seen anything like that? The holes, the...
No.
Never.
What did he say?
What did he say? That's a good question.
He described in pretty much excruciating detail very specific peoples and what to say to the group of them using message. Which after a brief discussion with the party, seems to be what he was going to say to get some of the people to evacuate.
Okay. I repeat verbatim.
Tried to leave us with something. And here I thought we were going to have someone who could help us through this. Someone strong. Someone who could share in our plight. Seems that they are not so kind.
I am so sorry.
And I assume now we're never going to get her on our side. As he sort of looks back. I don't blame her. I wouldn't blame her. He's gonna look to Rifter. On the trade-off, I'm going to have words.
I think we all are.
And if it was by any chance him, as he says loudly, I'm also going to have words.
I'm inclined to have more than words with all of that damned lot.
I'm sorry. We've taken too much from you to ask anything of you.
All that continues to happen as your body grows increasingly cold and the sides around your right collarbone just begins to freeze up as tears fall upon it and solidify. It's painful, but that's also part of what helps you accept it.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed earlier that he had a very strong celestial aura. Is there any way to call him back to this plane? Anything of the sort?
She's just crying.
Leave her be.
Right.
Could I ask you? As he's sort of like getting a little bit slower, his speech is slowing as his eyes are sort of like to stand up.
Lark is
He
going
rolls
to.
off of you in just fetal positions.
He is going to like uh, condense his aura in a sort of like condensing his magic and just heat himself up. Like fire is blowing over his body as he stands up. Oh,
Lork is also going to commit a bit of space heater by standing as close as humanly possible to Darius.
oh. Well, what do we do now? We have one more, and not exactly the best grounds to stand on with them.
I don't know.
Let's just do this fucking trade-off.
Even if she hasn't calmed down yet, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to take whatever it is she gives me, and I'm going to let her know what happened. She deserves to know.
And before Darius leaves, Rifter just grabs his arm and he says,
This wasn't your fault, mate.
I knew exactly the risks of telling him the information, and I still did it. As he like walks past, opens the door and closes it.
She makes a joke as you enter the room. I hear that y'all are yelling quite a bit. Doesn't seem like you're getting along as well as you'd hoped.
He didn't. He doesn't say a word. He literally just gets down on his knees and like bows down, like, and his forehead touches the ground. I've made a terrible mistake, and I don't ask for your forgiveness.
She starts to make some coy remark, but then after only like a word, she stops.
We were speaking, and we came to an agreement. He was going to help us. He wanted to do the right thing. And so I thought to tell him something to bring him to an even greater fight. The knowledge was his undoing. I spoke it to him, and he was gone.
She begins thrashing her chair, like the blood begins seeping out from her arms again. She's yelling, calling you a liar, and she keeps that up for a few seconds, and then she just eventually internalizes it as true and just starts begging for you to tell her as well, claiming that she'll like find him and that sort of stuff.
We don't even know what happened to him. And should I tell you, I don't want to risk your soul.
She's yelling so loud everyone in the other room can hear her as well.
Rifter just winces.
yelling, begging, just absolutely the kind of rejection of what you're saying. Like, it's not true, and if it was, you'd do this. You'd let me save him.
He's just staying forehead on the ground as she yells at him, like, like full bow position.
Assuming that Darius doesn't leave, it stays for about 8 minutes until she eventually just gives up and starts yelling to the other people outside and telling one of them to come in and sell her. It'd be a lot more convenient to get rid of her, wouldn't it? And giving a lot of other justifications that ultimately, all else equal, sounds like they'd be pretty good, but aren't. And a little bit after that, just giving up and crying.
After she's done yelling, Darius does end up standing up and looks her, and says something that he told me before was that you need time to calm down. So, we are going to go and find your friend and try and resurrect the other one. And when we are back, once you have had time to think, days to think, tell me again if you wish to know. As he turns and leaves.
You hear her calling you a liar and other such similarities as you're leaving, just rejecting that it's not true. But once you leave the room, either she's not yelling enough for you to hear outside, or she's stopped. And it is now the four of you with her basically forming into what at this point amounts to a little bit of a crystal shell forming around Emma down there.
Okay. Before she kills herself with that, I think I need to distract her. We can do the handoff in a little bit after I've... As he kind of pushes past, somebody should come with me. She might not. He's going to put his hand and try and use his heat to push his hand into the crystal to put it on her back.
She puts out one of her arms and pushes it off to the side. Please, I need to think.
And we need to go help your friend. We don't have long before his soul might depart, and I don't want you to lose more than you need to.
The shell that's forming around it just shatters in a single moment and splits in two, one falling on either side of her, as she just slams her fist on the floor and just yells into it as it reverberates a little and gets up and, as if nothing happened, just moves on. Most noticeably, the ropes that were tying her wrists together that had still been there are completely frozen solid and split in half despite being magic ropes themselves.
Mm-hmm. Any remainder rope or anything that is on her, he will take off, completely,
There is currently none. She's just
Okay.
walking straight out.
I'll show you to the griffin.
So, Cable. You see as right through the door that you're quote-unquote guarding, Ice Lady just busts through. Door almost slamming in your face.
He pulls out his bow and he does an action roll, across to get distance. He's like, hold on.
Caleb.
Would you mind making me a Constitution saving, though?
Sure.
Make sure it is as Cable.
Yeah.
He's
He's pretty good at those.
He does seem to be pretty good at those. Your body starts to feel exceptionally cold for a moment, but you're pushing through it. As just as Darius busts through, she's walking away.
He's gonna go ahead and pot a arrow, and he's like, if you don't
Darius
stop, I'm gonna
busts through
Darius
the
is-
door right as the arrow like slipped.
Darius is literally just going to walk and grab the arrow. Stop. She's fine. She's just in a hurry. And he's going to jog to catch up and try and walk like slightly in front of her. You don't know where the griffin is. as he turns like moves his arm to turn her in a different direction to walk towards his griffin.
Cable.
He continues walking in the direction she's going and grabs you and pulls you along.
Oh right.
Cable just scratches his head like, what did I miss?
You missed too much, friend.
I guess so.
Gods above.
What's wrong, friendo?
Everything?
Do tell.
No.
Okay. Alright then. He just sits down, he's like, okay, I guess they're just not telling me.
I'm sorry. This is not something to talk about idly.
If you say so. I guess at this point, Rifter's probably gonna leave the room, and he's just gonna. I guess I don't know. He's follow Darius, I guess.
As you turn the corner, you see just as she throws him into a pit of mud and Darius freezes before seeming to shatter, and then she dives in after him.
Wait, what?
I
Darius shatters?
Yeah. There's no remains or anything. He's just suddenly encased in a block of ice, and then that ice cracks and he's not there.
What the fuck?
Rifter at this point is going to pull out his daggers and charge her and ask, "What'd you do to him?"
She already dove in after him and also has a similar thing happen to her.
When you say dove in, like she was dashing towards him?
Like, it's at a pool of mud and water.
Okay. In that case, Rifter's gonna go ahead and run as fast as he physically can to Lorik. To make help.
Lork was following along, but
In that case, yeah, he looks at Lorik. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do?
Lork is going to dive in.
What?
As you dive in, you get very muddy and a bit of what I guess we could call a broken nose, as it's just a muddy water.
Mate, I think they're gone. And he's gonna run as fast as he can to get Shrinhoff. So whenever he arrives to get Shrinhoff, that's yeah. He just shouts out, "I'm getting Shrinhoff!"
No.
What just happened?
No.
They disappeared, same as the other one. I don't really know what to do now.
No!
Lord, he's gone.
I'm gonna bend down and try and inspect the mud for any latent traces of magic.
Go ahead and give me an Arcana.
Where's my sheet? There it is.
Do you want to use a spell slot?
A spell slot or a sorcery point?
A spell slot.
Sure.
Which one?
Of what level?
Well, you tell me.
Go with a 7.
So as you do, everyone else just looks as suddenly Schoenhoff's eyes begin to glow this bright blue, like the lightning in the middle of a storm, and he just begins scouring around, and you're able to see as there's just very vivid traces of these different diagrams in the ground as it begins to form these different shapes that are absolutely reminiscent of teleportation. Additionally, at the area just behind where you guys are, you hear as his griffin begins to caw before it leaps into the air and disappears into dust.
What do you
That part
see?
can't be good. Well, the good news is that there's traces of teleportation magic. So it's unlikely that they're completely gone.
Rifter looks to Lorik like happy, open face, like, hey, you hear that?
Lork is in the middle of casting Find Steed. Sadly, not Find Greater Steed because he doesn't have any of those spell slots left, but... Oh, fuck, that's a 10-minute cast time.
Oh, lol.
He begins
Bad
doing so.
news. The bad news is that I have no idea what's happened to his griffin.
Well, do you think it could have followed him to where he is?
The spell doesn't
It's
do that. It can either
It's
be
impossible
resummoned
to
or
say.
dismissed.
Well, maybe he dismissed it.
Whatever the case, it's very unlikely that they're gone.
Hell's
They
with
just
this
moved
thing.
elsewhere.
Get the discs. We're... Come on. We're...
Alright.
I don't know, we're... going to try and find them.
Maybe we should talk to... What's her name? Maybe she can tell us something?
You do that, I'm going to find them.
Alright. I didn't think I'd be doing this alone. Unless you come in, Hoffy.
As much as I want to accompany you with her, because I know what might happen, I don't know. Just don't torture her.
I don't think I can.
You guys should start using more than pronouns from time to time.
Well, it's harder for me. He is going to specify, I'm going to meet Cassandra. You know that, right?
Sorry, my
Yeah,
big
thought I meant.
years are catching up to me.
Yeah, I got you.
Anyways, don't get yourself killed then.
Oh, right. I guess this is a solo job. But I am perfectly willing to concede the camera shot to Lorik as he attempts to do whatever the hell he's trying to do.
Lork is abandoning the attempt at casting Find Seed because he knows it'll take way too long and he's getting the disc out again.
So giving up on casting it?
Yes.
Okay.
Does that consume the spell slot even though it was like maybe 20 seconds of casting
No.
a 10-minute spell? Okay.
I'd probably say like if it's past a quarter, that's when the spell slot gets used.
Okay.
So you hop on your board and then what?
He's going to head to the scene of the battle to try and find something there.
Give me a perception real quick. And then we will continue with Rifter and Struenhoff talking, and potentially Cable if you so choose.
Actually, maybe Cable should accompany Lorik, so that we don't have both of Evan's characters in the same room.
I'm
Yeah.
completely down with that. Yep.
Cable, give me a
Yeah.
perception as well.
Okay. He's better at those. By one, let's go.
Zam.
Rifter, Struenhoff, continue yours.
Okay, perception check.
No.
Just continue talking.
Yeah, also that was a Rifter perception, not a Cable perception.
Oh,
What's Cable's perception?
I was on the cable screen. That's weird. That's the same like. Oh no, I think that's my name.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Is
Yeah.
that Cable's? Got it. Okay, yeah. Alright,
yeah.
fine. We're good. Yeah, it's Rifter and Struenhoff's.
Not confusing, by the way.
Mhm.
Well, let's get a move on then.
All right. And yeah, I'm gonna head over to the trade-off site as soon as I can. Or I don't know what other instructions she might have given me, but yeah, I go to where
you
I
would know
think
that it's breaking the bone wherever you want.
Oh, okay. In that case, I'm gonna have it over in I guess the best idea would be in a secluded part of the bay. No, I shouldn't bring anybody else into this after what happened. No, I'm just gonna go out into a nearby woods, nearby local, not a very highly inhabited area.
Alright, you move on out. You crack it, and as it falls and crumbles to the floor, even the parts beyond the part of the severage begin to disintegrate and turn into this misty powder. This powder coalesces on the ground and begins to dissolve the grass underfoot as it begins to cave deeply inwards, forming a deep pit, which then quickly grows teeth, and a small, almost worm-like mouth comes out and asks if you're ready.
I guess it depends on what kind of condition he's in. And also, I got words for you.
The mouth opens up very big and swallows you.
What?
It turns to Struenhoff after swallowing. Are you ready to see them?
Just get it over with.
It's gross, it's horrible, it's fleshy, but you pop out in the flesh realms eventually after traveling through for about 15 seconds of absolute disgusting bullshit.
Ew.
You look around. Cassandra is there. Upon seeing that you're there, I'll just slide us over to this page just real quick before we end the session. So it's just Struenhoff and Rifter. So the two of you probably fall
fuck.
about here. As you fall through, she's nearby and she says, "Ah, good. We're finally here." And then she looks forward, and the rock face in front of where you are just simply dissipates, and within you see a Thomas chained up within the rocks, very much contained by the rocks themselves. Whereas previously, when you had encountered him and he was completely juiced, he had the confidence even while he was wounded, even while he was being struck. This sort of mental imperviability, that is now gone. He's not so far gone that he's broken, but he's finally vulnerable. He has fear in his eyes as he sees that you are there, and the light, and he sees light for what very well may be the first time in a few days.
Okay. As he comes in, Rifter takes a moment to ready himself as he's like, "Why did it have to be like that? That was terrible. Oh.
You. We have words to mince. Where are my companions?
She moves over and just gently moves her arms alongside of you and just generally pulls off some of the guck and grime from you.
He has an aversion to her touch. Do not lay hands on me. I have asked business. Where are my companions?
If they were not nearby you, they would not come along.
Oh, right. So, then give us some info. Does the case of my friends mysteriously disappearing in thin air sound familiar to you?
Oh, you must have mentioned the big man then, huh? It sounds like anything like vaporizing, turning to dust, having holes in them, perhaps sparkling a little, having a little bit of shine, a little bit of silver on the ground. Anything like that sound familiar?
Does Rifter remember anything of the sort during the disappearings?
Yes.
Okay, in that case, he's like, what explain.
We've all got our own little defenses set up. That's one of Andy's. But I'm sure we can talk about that later. And what to do about him. And she's gonna look over towards Thomas and, with your permission, call the scene.
Okay. As the last thing, as the scene ends, is Rifter somehow surprisingly notices Thomas, and a small smile of delight creeps across his face.
Taking your few steps forward, he looks. He begins trying to break the stone that encapsulates the tips of his arms and feet, but to very much no avail. And as you get much closer and closer, his veneer of the very strong man that he was always set to play begins to break down. And instead, it's one where he is suddenly, perhaps for the first time in his life, very, very weak.
Gibby.
Yippee! Woohoo!
Und Fortnite und Cola.
Yippee!
Oh, I'm so scared. We lost our face. I'm so scared.
Anyway, with that whole turn of events, I, for one, am rather proud of the session and look forward to seeing all of you in a week. Can you believe it, guys? Next session. Just a week away.
Just a week away.
Oh, wow.
In a week.
Can you believe it? In a week. I'm so excited about this information. And you know what? You should be excited about it too, because this is when things are really spicing up. All the big fancy lore threads are dropping. All the emotional stakes have been primed, and everybody's beginning to find their place in the world. But that's, wow, very nice. But that's for the future. For now, we must say goodbye. So goodbye. Come on, anybody else gonna say
Goodbye.
goodbye? Yeah, there it is. Thank
Well,
you.
no, I can't say goodbye if I'm gone.
Bye.